Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Bertrude and today we're using a build that I like to call The Thing. It's a build that's inspired from monster horror films such as Jeepers Creepers. Let's take a look at it. So it's a level 200 build. We've got 60 vigour, 45 endurance, 60 strength, 37 faith and 28 arcane. We're using the Opaline hard tier for the damage negation and the flame shrouding crack tier to boost our fire attacks, which will benefit our weapons. And here's a quick look at the armour and talismans we're using on the build. As you probably already noticed, the main weapons on the build are going to be 2 troll hammers. As well as this, in our second weapon slot, we have the option to use the Moog Sacred Spear. As well as the spear, we also have the option to use the black knife, which has a really cool Ash of War, which can be good for ranged attacks. We've also got a few incantations on the build, and our seal of choice is the Clawmark seal. We've then got Bestial Sling, the Beast Claw, Grey Rolls Roar, the Dragon Maw, and then finally we've got our buff, Flame Grant Me Strength. All of these incantations help to add to the monster type feel of the build. Anyway guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content, but it's time for you lot to sit back, get your feet up, relax and enjoy the video. Okie dokie guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an absolutely awesome day. So yeah, The Thing, the build that we're using for this video. It's one of my favourite builds. It's like a really cool strong build at level 200 currently, and it's inspired by creature features. I'm a big film fan, I've always been a big film fan. I studied animation at university, I did fine art at college, and I've always had an appreciation for science fiction and fantasy, and then when it comes to horror films, I've always absolutely loved creature features, monster horror films. I've always liked that kind of creative aspect of the creatures in those films. It's something I've always taken interest in. Films like The Thing, you know, old classics, Alien, Predator, and then more recent films like A Quiet Place, and as I mentioned at the start, Jeepers Creepers. You know, they're all some of my favourites, and it's all because of the absolutely awesome monster designs in those films. So that's where I kind of got the idea for this build. I wanted to create a build, a character that could come straight out of a creature feature, and it all started with the Imp's head. I looked at the Imp's head and I just thought, that is one ugly mask. You know, that mask is absolutely atrocious, and it looks like it's just crawled out of some gutter somewhere in the street. Looks like it's some kind of like mole or badger or, you know, some kind of squirrel that's been mutated, and you know, he ate some mutated fish in some stream somewhere, and he's just mutated into this creature. So it was the Imp's head that kind of kicked the thought of this build off. I took my idea of, like, you know, loving those creature features, the horror films, and I wanted to transfer that into a build. So this is where we've, you know, this is what we've been left with at the end of that process. The Thing. So let's take a look at it. You can see from these invasions that we're using 2 Trolls Hammers for our main weapons. I absolutely love the colossal weapons in this game. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I just love the movesets. I know they're very slow, and that can work against you sometimes, but it's just a playstyle you've got to adapt to, and, you know, find your own rhythm within it and create a playstyle that kind of benefits you. And you don't see anyone ever using these trolls hammers, and I don't know why, because they do some really good damage. And as I said at the start as well, we're using the flame shrouding crack tier in our flask, and these hammers actually do innate fire damage, so we're going to get a bit of a damage buff when we use our flask. And as well, we're using Flame Grant Me Strength on the build, which is also going to buff our fire damage even more. So, you know, altogether, we're getting some really good damage out of these weapons. And I just think they look really cool. Like, they just look like 2 massive big chicken drumsticks, don't they? Oh, I'd love some chicken now, you know. I could eat some chicken. Oh, do you know, I love a bit of chicken. I could go for some chicken drumsticks. In fact, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to order some chicken drumsticks after I finish this video. That's the plan. But yeah, I'm using 2 big chicken drumsticks, and they're just awesome weapons, and they just, like, yeah, they do some good damage. And we've got some good incantations as well, as you could see there. We've got the Grey Rolls Roar on the build, and as well as that we've got the Dragon Maw, 2 really cool dragon incantations. Possibly the 2 best dragon incantations, you know. They just look really cool. Do some good damage on this build. We've got some good arcane investment and stuff. So yeah, it's all good, and they really do add to the monster feel of the build, those two incantations in particular, because, you know, they are just two big dragons, aren't they? And we're a bit of a beastly build, so being able to transform into two big dragons for some big powerful incantations, it just really suits. But looking at this, look at this invasion here. I came across my fellow red, and I thought, you know, this is great. There's a red, we can go and have a 2-on-2 against the host and his summon, and see what's going on. Let's go and hunt them down. And I came over, give him a little bob to say hello, and what do you know, we've got an old traitor red. The absolute worst. Worse than any blue. Worse than any gankers is a traitor red. Oh, just get bestial slinging on. Take some of the slingballs up in you. Taste my testicles as well. How is the taste of my testicles? Taste them. Just taste them, my big old beastie testicles. So we kill the traitor red in this invasion, and now we've got a blue to deal with. Little bit sloppy on my behalf, this bit. Little bit sloppy against this blue, but it's nothing to fear. You know, we managed to deal with it. But at this point, I was using some different armour. What's this armour called? Let me just check. It's the Fell Omen Cloak. The Fell Omen Cloak. Now, at this point in this build's journey, this was actually at level 168. So I kind of increased it from level 168 to 200. And there's a reason for that. I was invading at level 168. I was using the Fell Omen Cloak, as you can see now. And I was just getting one shot all over the place. The amount of damage I was taking was absolutely unreal. And at this point, I didn't have as big as an investment into endurance. So I didn't actually have the weight advantage to use any heavier armour, or even use any other weapons. So at this point I weren't using the Moog Sacred Spear or the Black Knife on the build as well. It was just these two weapons, the incantations and this armour. So throughout the video you'll probably see me running around in a few different armour sets, but that's only after I increased my level to 200. Because I was sick of just taking so much damage at 168. This cloak at 168 just weren't doing the job for me. It didn't have enough defences. I know I always say don't be a poi slave and don't, you know, just wear whatever you want to wear, but up at these high levels you kind of have to have a certain level of protection. You know, you've got to be able to take some hits. And wearing that particular cloak, that particular fashion, although I thought it looked awesome and really added to the build, I was just losing too many invasions with it, and I was starting to get a little frustrated. So I had a little think. I decided, let's bang some levels on this bad boy. Let's take this beast up to 200. Let's get a load more endurance, and let's wear some better armour. So I think the armour I actually finally settled on was the Raging Wolf armour altered, which is what I've got now. But in the video you'll probably see me wearing the scaled armour for 1 or 2 invasions as well. I kind of changed it up a little bit along the way, but eventually I settled on the Raging Wolf armour because that allowed me to have some better defences and stuff, but also have enough to use the Moog Sacred Spear as well without heavy rolling, which is, you know, pretty vital really. You don't want to be fat rolling. So, you know, we have got like 45 endurance, which is a hell of a lot, but at 200, you know, you can afford to do that. So it was definitely the right move to go from 168 up to 200. And as much as I like this armour now, it looks like I'm wearing a load of bacon, doesn't it? A load of streaky bacon. Oh, do you know, I could go for some bacon as well. That's what I'm doing, chicken drummers and bacon after I've done this. I'm just getting hungry, guys. I'm a big lad, you know what I mean? I need to keep my calories up. I'm going gym working out. I need 55,000 calories a day just to sustain myself, you know what I mean? So I'm going getting some chicken drumsticks and bacon. But I kind of look like I'm wearing bacon here, don't I, in this Omen cloak? Remember Lady Gaga when she wore that meat suit, that like meat cloak, and she looked absolutely ridiculous? I kind of look like that, like Lady Gaga, but better, you know what I mean? Oh, look at that. Squasher Kevin, anyone? Anyone for a squashed Kevin? I'll take a squash Kevin because I just squashed him with my Troll's hammers. All's up in him with the Troll's hammers. Something you do have to be careful of. Well, I have to be careful of. You lot don't have to be careful of it, but something I have to be careful of with this build is getting suckered into just doing too many jump attacks. You know, these Troll's hammers, I love Colossals. But when you're using two of them like this, I don't know what it is, but it is kind of easy to get into that blind kind of mindset of jumping attacks, and I'd kind of catch myself sometimes and think maybe I'm being a little too predictable here. I've got to stop doing the jumping attacks. You know, that's not how we play, that's not how I want to do things. So, you know, I do land some jumping attacks for some big damage, but I did kind of catch on early on that it's all about the timing, and I've got to pick my moments. I just don't want to just start being a blind jump attack spammer. That's not how I want to play the game. So it's something I kind of collared onto pretty quick, and then I got on top of it. And as you can see there, you know, we punished his heal with a big jumping attack, big damage, and then we just kind of developed our playstyle from there. But looking at this one-on-one, like, this guy, I've fought this guy 1,000 times, you know. I've fought someone using this greatsword. I've fought someone using the greatsword with piercing fang, or that the other thrust attack Ash of War. I've fought that guy 1,000,000 times before. He's going to get me in a 1-2 combo with that sword, follow it up with the piercing fang or whatever that Ash of War is. But you know, I'm sure it's good in the arena. Just get in the arena. Don't make me fight you one-on-one, because it's boring, mate. Look at this. Oh, the Ash of War on the Troll's Hammer. It is the Troll's Roar, of course it is. I've got my Xbox up on the other screen so I can just check all the equipment I'm wearing, because I always find when I'm doing this commentary, I always forget what stuff's called. So I've started having my Xbox up on the other screen, and I'm actually checking as I'm going through now, so I don't mess up anything what anything's called, because I do that all the time. But yeah, the Troll's Hammer has got an awesome Ash of War, Troll's Roar. I'm a big fan of Troll's Roar, guys. It's quite an underrated Ash of War. The follow-up attack can often be quite hard to hit, because, you know, it's a very slow kind of follow-up attack. People often roll out the way of it, but the initial part, see, watch this on this blue. Off you go, son. Off you go. I'll see you later. I like the shield that you was using, but, you know, you just got troll roared off the bridge. And yeah, it's just great for crowd control. It's a great Ash of War for crowd control. I've used it on a few builds now. My level 30 War Goblin build uses the Troll's Roar on the Great Club. I'm sure I've got another build that uses it. I can't think off the top of my head, but look at this. I just hit both of them for some big damage. I'm using the Raw Medallion as well on this build, don't forget, because that's going to enhance my Roar and Breath attack. So it's going to enhance the Troll's Roar, and then it's going to enhance the Grey Roll's Roar as well. Extra damage. I went for the Grey Roll's Roar there, but as you could see, I got stunned out of it. That was another drawback of wearing this Omen's Cloak. It kind of didn't help me land the Troll's Roar at all. I'd get easily stunned out of it, but I did find when I kind of got some better armour, I did land a lot more with the Troll's Roar. So, you know, that extra bit of poise did help. But yeah, Troll's Roar, the Raw Medallion, as well as the Shard of Alexander, all of a sudden the Troll's Roar is doing some really, really good work. Nice damage on the horse there. The summon, you know, we've got to be careful of that Eleonora's Pole Blade. That's going to absolutely blitz us down if he gets a big blood proc on us. I thought he was going for a breath attack here, so I'll back up off the bridge and nearly fall off. But he's actually going for the Dragon Maw as well. He's got the Dragon Maw in his build, just like we have. I like using the Beast Claw and the Bestial Sling on this one. I think mixed in with the Dragon Incantations. As I said earlier, it's all kind of adding to that monster slash beastly feel of this build. I wanted it to feel like a creature from some horror film, you know? And I think everything together really does add to that. Now, this has been a really good invasion, but I kind of spoil it here. I kind of run in a bit too eager, thinking I can poise through attacks, and he, you know, fair play to him. He hits me with a big Ash of War on the Rivers of Blood, a nice little follow-up attack, and he gets the kill on me. It was a good invasion, especially that kill on the blue off the bridge at the start. We took out the summon, but then I just kind of gifted that kill to him, you know. Unfortunate, I was frustrated with myself, but, you know, it's a good invasion overall. I just kind of lost a little bit of focus at the end there, and I took the loss. Absolutely fine, still a good invasion. Now look at this, I've never actually used the Morgue Sacred Spear before. This is the first time I've used it. This is a weapon that I've only recently put onto this build once we went up to level 200, and I got that big investment into endurance. It allowed me to use that really, really cool spear. I've got the investment into Arcane, and and faith as well, so you know it's doing some good damage with the arcane investment. Watch this, we go for a second Dragon Maw. Oh, look at that damage. Beautiful thing, guys. I just bit his head off. I just bit that wizard's head right off. But yeah, we had the option to use the Morgue Sacred Spear on this build. I've never used it before. I've had it used against me loads of times. And honestly, I think it is one of the strongest weapons I've ever used for invasions. It's an invader's best friend. You know, I think it's one of those weapons that's got a certain reputation from an invader's point of view. But as an invader using it for the first time, I think it's absolutely awesome. And you can get some really, you know, stylish kills against ganks. Can get you out of a pinch. It's just a really good spear. Look at this awful invasion we've spawned into here. We've got the Black Knife out, and we managed to actually take out one of the summons, spawn into a horrendous 3-on-1, backed into a corner. They're all spamming. I love spam, me. Spam's my favourite food. I absolutely love a bit of spam. Who doesn't love a bit of spam? Because these three absolutely love a bit of spam. But a little bit careless there again, jumping into that Ash of War from the big old bonk sword that the summons got. I thought I could have landed that before he actually managed to get that hit in on me, but I just misjudged it. But it doesn't matter because the horse follows me down, and Troll's War once again proving its worth, just launching him off the side. I was really pleased with that invasion. I thought that was an absolute guaranteed nailed on loss as soon as I spawned in, but we made it work. We pulled something out the old bag. I took a rabbit and I pulled it out of that bag. That's what I did. Oh, it's always satisfying when you think you're just in for an absolute loss and then you just manage to pull a win out of the bag. Dragon Maw, anyone? Get chomped on. Get chomped right in half. Look at the damage though. Dragon Maw, when you've got a decent investment in arcane, is absolutely devastation. And the spear again, Morgue Spear here. You know, it's not just an Ash of War machine. You know, it does actually have a cool moveset, as all great spears do, as that host just found out. Just a good build, guys, and it's even better since I've made it up to 200. It felt good at 168, but as I said, too big of a disadvantage with that particular armour that we was wearing, the Omen Cloak. As much as I liked it, the build felt much better up at 200. With some chunkier armour, a little bit more poise and some better defences. And as I said, guys, I mentioned this already, but I know I talk about poise and defences and not kind of falling victim to that need to have a lot of poise and a lot of big armour and stuff, but up at this level, at level 200, when you're taking some massive damage from these ganks, it's kind of a necessity to have decent armour. So, you know, I think it's just called for. Like I said, the build just feels miles better now anyway. But anyway, guys, this is the last invasion of the video. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Really fun build, really cool character build. Unlucky Mr. Horse there. Take a black blade in your face. But anyway, guys, look after yourselves, look after each other. Oh, I told a lie, it's not the last invasion. This is actually the last invasion though. I'm not lying this time. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you all in the next video.